Alrighty then. We finished the base game. Today we're doing more speculation on mega abilities. Because I had to split this into two, because the last one already took half an hour. Really tried to keep it brief. Trust me. Now we can chill a bit. So, Mega Dimension introduced even more new megas. Two of the same, as a matter of fact. Only the third X and Y. And it's the Raichus. It didn't even bother changing the typing. I am genuinely upset at that. Like, make at least one of them a dual type. But, important part, is obviously, stats. Oh yeah, there's a lot of those, especially with the pre-patch. But basically, Mega Raichu X, it's a bit of a funny one. But I'll have to be honest, I played the mission in the DLC with the double Raichu fight, and floating levitating Mega Raichu X was too peak. I want to see this thing be levitate. Doesn't even have to make a whole lot of sense, even though they did invest a nice chunk into the bulk, so it's not as frail. Let's ignore the 60 HP base part. But honestly, this one it's just not min-maxed enough. I don't know why they are keeping the special attack stat when they want to make it an obviously physical attack, because Raichu's stat distribution really isn't that good. That would justify this. So yeah, nah. Just make it levitate, just have it for the memes. This thing's not gonna be good. Like, if we're trying to talk in the context of VGC, Mega Raichu Y, or as some enlightened Twitter user called it once and is now hard stuck in my head, the I-generated Mega Pikachu, has a lot more potential because at least they knew and understood the assignment. Just make this thing deal damage and do it fast and hard. I think this one, like, we didn't really had the terrain setting abilities back when we last got Megas and Auras. So I'd quite like some surges. Just give this thing electric surge. Like, it's such a glass cannon. 55. 55. Like, you can't keep Raichu space bulk up there and think that's fine. That's unethical. Whatever, Electric Surge, maybe some signature abilities would make sense because they love the yellow red, but out of those existing ones that are interesting picks, that's the best. There's the one that quite surprised me. Like, no one asked for this, but again, gotta mention that. Find a way to incorporate the pre-Evo design into the Mega. Like it quite a lot. And Chimecho is one of those where I'm like, you reduce the speed on chest. I am never gonna get over how they randomly locked in on Mega Chestnut stats, because that is so criminally out of proportion compared to everything else. But Mega Chimecho, it's at least workable. Now, there is already a couple of rather potent Steel Psychic types, but Mega Chimecho, again, we're gonna hear this a lot, because at the end of the day, I think the most realistic path is that more than half of the new Megas will have signature abilities, but Mega Chimecho screams signature abilities. So it's a wind chime, so it's gonna be adjacent to something like Aerial Aid, in the sense that you can't really do much besides just make it get more steel moves. And I think instead of just having the ultra out of the normal moves, what would make sense for a literal wind chime would most definitely be an ability that turns sound-based moves into steel-type attacks, just to give it an interesting move pool of those. So yeah, steel-type Boom Burst. But with a decent boost, sounds kind of funny. Like, you trade off the limiting factor of like less sound-based moves for maybe like a higher boost. Like, give it the good old 50% and make this thing actually a nuke, because I like it, and I feel like it's in the original spirit of the mechanic when you take objectively bad Pokemon with no real niche and turn them into powerhouses. I think that is extremely cool, and Mega Mawile is honestly the best example, because Mega Kangaskhan kind of got overtuned, baby. But yeah, no, just wind chime, whatever. And now here's the one where it gets interesting: the Z Mega. Mega Absol Z. So I'll be honest with you. Back when they announced those and showed some mechanical differences, I was scared to death that the Z Megas are going to have an actual mechanical difference in the non-Legends game because they gotta do something, but no. They all just are put at 151 speed because screw Shadow Rider, I suppose, and that is a message I wholeheartedly agree with. Now here's the thing. But I have to try a little bit of fun with this occasionally. Even though it doesn't make the most sense, it makes enough sense to go alongside the design and say this absolute edgelord needs sharpness because this is the edge design. This is a quadrupedal Shadow the Hedgehog rebellious teenage years. I love it. I need it. And I need the sharpness ability for the jokes. I am 100% transparent when I say this. This is just the edgy design, and I love it so much. Reminds me of better days. And this one, it's so peak. It's so peak. Mega Staraptor. First of all, 3 Mega having Intimidate, always a fantastic start. The OG Sick Bird, man, I remember this thing getting close combat and Brave Bird, and I couldn't believe my mind, dude. This mon blew 13-year-old Casey's mind back in the day, and now we get what it deserves with the Mega. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot, because the thing is, like, Tough Claws, I get tired of talking about Tough Claws. Tough Claws is on so many Megas already, and Skarmory is probably going to be one, so even though it does make sense, I think there's one more interesting thing about Mega Staraptor that could be done. The Pokédex does also mention Great Flyer can pick up a Steelix out of flight, so I think we gotta tap into some of the more recent things and utilize the wind, baby. Because Bramblegas is a lovely little ability, Bramblegas my goat, which is, well, Wind Rider. So why not Mega Staraptor Wind Rider? Gives some lovely immunities. That one's a pretty good move to get supported by, especially with this nice 110 speed stat. It can outspeed there. Getting the attack boost and something like that. I think, since it's already not a signature ability because Shift recorded for some reason, a Pokemon that thrives in the aerial ways, come on. It makes sense. It just makes sense. Come on, come on. And here's the one that really pisses me off. Like, Mega Garchomp. Like, before I even go talk about the stats, they made this into Mono Dragon. There is no good Mono Dragon. You gotta give it something. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. At the moment, with the current move pool, and with how the stats change work, because this is... It's just min-max in the weirdest way. They took away some of the bulk to get to this 151 speed stat, and just pumped 41 into special attack to make it at least distinct, and I respect the attempt. But Mono Dragon, when we got a bunch of new fairy megas and two really, really scary steel megas, makes me think that Garchomp is going to be condemned to the funny fate of having 2 mega evolutions and both of them being trash. Like, again, I can see this thing getting something ridiculous like Dragon Small or an equivalent, or like sheer force because sheer power of Z Garchomp or whatever. But dude, it's like it's so funny. Garchomp is historically an amazing Pokemon and competitive. It's been amazing ever since it came out. Uh, Even in singles, going so far as being an Uber because it's 102 speeds. It was that impressive back then, but unless they do something really ridiculous with a signature ability, and I'm saying better than Dragon Small just because of a lack of a good spread move. I don't know, man. This has to be an inside joke, being like, yo, what if like a Garchomp was bad? Again. Nah, bro, that thing. Okay, let's get the last Z Mega out of the way. Z Mega Hatsune Miku. Why is it still fighting Steel? But now this is the one where I'm gonna bring up an unexpected source, and that's the trailer. I'm not gonna play it because I don't know how to edit yet. But in the initial trailer, they showed regular Lucario alongside Regalgi. Do you know what those two have in common? Ding 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 ding. They're both adaptability. Fantastic ability. You put this on things if you want to suddenly make them broken. Perfectly understandable. But on the other side was Cloetza and Z Lucario. And I, as the big Pistol Shrimp fan, thought to myself, man, maybe it's very intentional. Maybe they're trying to communicate something. By show, don't tell, you know? The stuff you do with visual mediums. And that is to give Z Mega Lucario Mega Launcher, which gives the Aura Sphere the same boost as adaptability would. Nice little 50% on a Pokemon with 164 base special attack. But it would also give Mega Lucario an interesting niche or regular, because you obviously don't get the Flash Cannon boost. Your Steel type attacks would be unaffected by this. But, it's a big but. Dark Pulse, which has been in its move pool ever since its inception in glorious Diamond Pearl Platinum days, gets Dark Pulse. Fighting Dog coverage with a 50% boost. People have been talking about how Absol is going to be the Shadow Rider killer. Nah, bro. Mega Lucario Z is about to delete some horses, and I am here for it. Absolutely love this thing. Can't wait to use it. Gonna buy some Hatsune Miku merch if I ever win a regional with it. Then there's the big one. Oh. This is the one that can save us all or put us all into the deepest layer of hell. Heatran, the most random legendary Pokemon of them all. 175 base special attack. They took away some steel. They put 30 into its physical attack. And I still don't even care, bro. Still don't even care. Because this is ridiculous. 141 base special defense? Oh my lord. So here's the thing. If this thing stays Flash Fire, I'm perfectly okay with it. But if a little devil whispered into the dev's ears and been like, yo, what if? Listen to me closely on that one. What if we gave the Steel Fire type a different immunity and gave it Earth Eater instead? So that if it got hit by a ground type attack, it would usually delete it. Just gained health instead. Now, I'm gonna be honest, the likeliest cause is Flash Fire. Maybe a signature ability. But if this thing gets Earth Eater, we've all been thinking it. Don't deny it. None of us are debt free of sin. I'm sorry. But now let's move on before I hark on about Mega Heatran. Golurk is one that caught me off guard. Again, Wix mention, sick design, love it. But I'll be honest with you, this one I was just so confused what to do with that. So with the Pokédex entry talking about its power leaking because of the Mega Evolution making it overflow, I think the only ability out of the ones that exists for this one to be thematically consistent, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to beat the stereotype of VGC players not playing their own game. Struggling with that one because I do not play my own game. Is what would be good in VGC, but also thematically consistent. And a Pokemon that's literally leaking power should have sheer force. Like, huge power would be a little too much, and huge power wouldn't make sense because it's doesn't have the 140 extra base total in ZA. Also on this stat, you really don't want that. But sheer force on 159. Like, I was already thinking, man, Golda could be really good, and it's like very close to that, man. Ability ain't that important tier. With a solid bulk, really, really impressive attack, and workable trick room speed tier. So yeah, very, very interesting one. Sheer force or surprise me. Very curious. Then there is Androgyny Manifest. 143. Competitive before in Megas. It's going to be disgusting. So I can see two ways. Either you give this thing Psychic Surge and make it a solo expanding force bot, which I'd hate. Really would. As of time of this recording, we're still playing the second round of Reg F and Scarlet Violet. I am on a warpath of Iron Crown. That mon is evil. And so is Indeedee. But trust me, one day I'll make a separate rant about Indeedee. Because I do hate that thing. With a burning passion. But now, on to Meowstic though. The funniest possible thing would be to just go all in on the combination of the two forms and give it a mixture of competitive and prankster. Why? Because it would be evil. And because Intimidators have gone on for long enough. And at the math, Insig can still survive a +2 focus blast. It's still not strong enough. So let's do it. I'm very sorry about the coughing. And then you are always by my side. This is the one that's for me. Mega Golisopod, it got the "oh, I'm going to be abused in rain" typing bug. Still, I really wish I saved the clip from when I saw this. But I love Golisopod. I always have. I think it's one of the sickest designs. And finally, almost a decade later, perhaps my dream can come true. But probably not. Because the likeliest outcome for this thing is that they still give it emergency exit. Look at it. 630 with 40 speed. And it only gains 10 points, pushing it to 70. Its special attack? Good lord. Look, I just wanted to have any ability that isn't emergency exit. Because it just deserves better, man. Like, come on, there's too many other war crimes running around. You can't tell me that emergency exit is still necessary. In a world where Urshifu exists, Bloodamine exists, Incineroar in its current form exists. So yeah, I'd be fine if this thing got Torrent of all things. Because this is in the I am insanely strong as long as my ability doesn't hold me back tier, like 150, 175, 120. Or the 70, like, come on, bro, come on. This is insane. This is going to make Rain one of the scariest archetypes if this mon isn't actively held back by its ability again. Because you can have this water coverage, you can be in Rain, you can nuke the opposing fire type, go into the Mega, and become indestructible. Leech Life, Mega Golisopod 8, you ain't caring that. Talking about recovering moves. On to the next one. Crabominable. Man, we all remember that one mission where you fight against two of those. I got got hard. No shame in denying, in admitting that. But what I gotta admit is that this is a head scratcher, bro. I have only one explanation. Because this is in the Mega Chestnut tier of nonsense. It lost speed. It lost speed on a base 43. Got 0 special attack. This isn't the average Mega stat distribution. This is the conclusion of an arc of a dude that played Sun and Moon in 2016, completely fell in love with Crabominable, and made it his mission to make this thing meta relevant. Because this is min-maxing, bro. Like, dude said, bad defensive typing, great defensive stats on a 157. And here's the funny thing. This is one of those where I can absolutely see it staying the same ability. Because Iron Fist is kind of wild on a Pokemon like this. 20% boost on your signature Ice Hammer. And that's kind of evil, Drain Punch. Boosted Drain Punch on a Pokemon that's already going to be hard enough to kill despite a horrendous defensive typing. And also, quick reminder, 33 base HP, I say, 33 base speed. And it gets Mach Punch. And an ability to boost that. This crab is evil. Like, this is why they did this mission with the two Crabominals. To mentally prepare us for the fact that this is evil. Bro. Oh, caramba. And then evil for a different reason. Scovillain. I like this one. I don't like this Mega. I like the tie. Like, chat, fellas, my good people of the internet. We, as a society, have learned basically nothing from the grave sin that's Mega Pyroar. Why are you doing my jalapeno like that? Why are you doing my jalapeno like that? Like, again, I hark on about how I'm really trying not to default everything to, oh yeah, it's going to be a signature ability, and I think it's going to be this, and that. Because I'm quite lazy, to be honest, but dude, there doesn't exist an ability that justifies this. What do you mean? You don't... This is... This feels like an elaborate joke. Just being like, oh yeah, Mega Victreebel was so funny, we had to do it a second time around, which was Mega Pyro. And then they said, wow, this is so funny, third time's gonna be hysterical. And now, like, Rift Violence. Like, dude, I don't even know. They're gonna have to make it use Spicy Extract as an ability or something to justify that. And even that sounds like a horrible idea. Like, this is the only one where I'm at a genuine loss. Because I'd like to believe that the devs have a plan. I just don't believe in the plan. Like, I was already wrecking my brains about Mega Golem, but Mega Scovillain just makes me too sad to think, bro. Like, how do you salvage this? How do you salvage this thing? Like, I'm sorry, that one I'm just gonna say skip. And that's the one that's super random. Glimmora. I'll be honest. This one is one of the likelier candidates for ability stays the same, really. Because this is just an upgraded version. I don't understand why its attack went to 90. But I guess its stats are already so solid that Glimmora has been used in competitive already that it justifies that. Even though the item slot loss is a bit bad, but I want to say its Mega is going to be just Toxic Debris. Either they keep it that way, which I highly doubt, or they just upgrade it. Because it's one of the few Pokemon that already has a signature ability going into it, which is not a drawback. Cough, cough, Golisopod. Cough, cough. So maybe Glimmora is just straight up going to set the Toxic Debris, like Toxic Spikes, my bad, on Mega Evolution. That's the only thing I can imagine. And talking about the head scratchers, why do you exist? Why is there three of you? I'll be honest. Mega Tatsugiri, just because it really has three forms, makes me think that maybe, just maybe, they're gonna do something silly and go off of order up and say, okay, the Mega Tatsugiris are gonna have one ability that is gonna have variations based on what it is. Like this, the DLC is so mind-boggling, dude, on so many levels, and I'm not even talking about the DLC itself. But, bro, it could be something like, okay, one maybe has levitate, one has a gold missile, and one has a weak parental bond or something. I'm just wondering, really, since they also went through the trouble of having them look slightly different, since that's the important distinction, Mega Pyro looks the same, regardless of male or female. But the different Tatsugiri forms have something different. So I genuinely think one of them being like a budget parental bond, maybe without secondary abilities for a change because they learned from Mega Kangaskhan's sins. Could be something with the creating and commanding copies of itself. The projectiles exploding on contact, that does remind me of a certain bird in the Gala region. And then Stretchy, just make it levitate, dude. Levitate's a good ability. It's good enough for Latios and Latios. It's good enough for Tatsugiri. Then, that's the last one that we really want to talk about, because I'm just gonna slander the Mythicals. Mega Excalibur, first of all, sick design. Second of all, ridiculous stat distribution. Here's what I'll say. Just give it skilling. Just make it functionally the same as Excalibur was used by the end of Scarlet Violet's, by its viability in Scarlet Violet's era. Let's phrase it like that. Nice buff. You don't have to rely on the loaded dice rolls between 4 and 5 hits anymore. And you just run Icicle Spear and Scale Shot, and this thing's gonna be broken as all sin. Because what do you mean it has 175 attack? I'm just gonna keep it super simple on that one, because I'm already yapping way too much. Now, Zera Aura. We're just gonna talk about the design real quick, because I am praying that Mythicals will never be a factor in VGC, because they already split the formats too much. This isn't a Mega Evolution. This is someone's DeviantArt OC that got past QA testing and all design authorities. Also, its stats are whack. Get this thing away from me. This would actually be scary to face. And then, why does Smagirna look so sick? Like, bro, this girl woke up and chose violence, and I'm supporting her all the way. This thing still has Soul Heart. This is Loki the best Pokemon ever. Kinda, sorta. There's another reason why I hope we never get Mythicals. Because who the fuck wants to deal with that? Alright. No Yu-Gi comparison this time. Just me, wishing you all a great day. Bye-bye.